All right, what's good? What's good? Let's get ready to do this, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint. We're gonna go ahead and do it like we supposed to. All right, Swear the Wizard, what's up, man? Markel, what's good? Pesci booming. Let's get the people a few minutes to get in here, man. Just a couple of minutes. Y'all can see, man, we got a phenomenal show topic, man. We're gonna let this thing rip. If you want to be a part of this live chat, go ahead, go to the main channel page. Next to subscribe, you'll see join. Click that join button. Go select your membership tier and come on through. Cause we about to take this thing incognito. Had to eliminate the souls of the trolls, man. Unfortunately, everybody has to suffer because of the trolls. Cause they will show up. Appreciate y'all being in the building, man. My bad for earlier in the show. But hey, man, let me tell y'all something. Don't come on King Ray Ray channel talking crap about the BOA channel, man. Come and block you. A couple of guys found that out earlier. Like, how you gonna come? How you gonna come to me and talk crap about my homie BOA? Nah, bruh. What kind of partner would I be if I let you do that? That's my homie, man. I've been knowing him. I've been knowing all. All right, let's get ready to do this, man. Had to make an adjustment. Y'all know we had to do that, man. Had to make a minor adjustment. All right, man. So let's get ready to do this, man. A few people in the joint now. Famos, salute. Appreciate you being in the joint, man. All the brothers in here, man, representing, man. I appreciate y'all being in here, man. So, all right, here we go, man. Here we go. Today's topic. God don't make no mistakes. Okay, I see what happened. Hold up, man. I got something on the other one over here. I got two of them open, man. I'm finna close one. Make sure everything good. All right, bet. All right, we in here, man. So, topic of the day, man. God don't make no mistakes. So accept the version of you that you have. Because believe it or not, that's all you got. Complaining about who you are and where you're from and your background and what happened to your people and what you've been through and all of these things, man, those are just excuses that we make to keep from achieving the things that we know we can achieve if we apply ourselves. And one thing we've all been taught since we were children is apply yourself. Do the best you can. Give everything your best effort. Nothing matters except your best effort. If you don't give it your best effort, you deserve to fail. Anything you don't give your best effort. Sometimes you're gonna have to make some compromises. Sometimes you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. Let me rephrase that. You're always gonna have to make some compromises. You're always gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're always gonna have to do some things that you not necessarily don't want to do, but don't understand why you have to do at that particular time. But if you get to the end goal, once you get to the end goal, everything makes sense. Even the things that didn't make sense before, they make sense. But you're never going to get to that end goal if you keep telling yourself, this is the reason why I can't. This is the reason why I shouldn't. God didn't give me a fair hand. I didn't get a fair shake. My cards don't play the same way everybody else's cards play. When I jump in the sky, I don't come back down. I start floating away. I can't even live my life. Everything that affects everybody else affects you as well. So you haven't been dealt a bad hand. The only man on earth who can say he's been dealt a bad hand is the man who has the absolute worst hand on earth. Otherwise, when you say, man, I've been dealt a bad hand, the man with the worst hand can say, man, you complain, and I take your hand, you take mine. So the only you have is you. You're stuck with yourself. The only way you can end that is if you take yourself out. Otherwise, you're stuck with the you that you have. There's nothing you can do about it. If you're tall, you're tall. If you're short, you're short. In 50 years, you still gonna be short. These are some things you're stuck with. Now, if you're overweight, you're not stuck with that. That's something that can be changed. So I don't even like to hear people complain about being overweight. If you're overweight and you complain about it, man, shut up. You know what you need to do? Eat less, move more. Period. Eat less, move more. It's not an easy process, but you got to make the adjustments because all you have is you. No one else is ever going to be to blame for the things that you don't do in life, or the things that you don't take seriously in life, or the things that you don't work hard for in life, or the things that you don't prioritize in life. It's always going to be you. But the thing is, if you say you didn't get a fair hand, then you're looking at God saying, God, you did me wrong. You're blaming the Most High for your issues, man. And here's the thing. If that's your mindset, then you haven't embraced rule number one, life rule number one, not alpha rule number one, life rule number one. Life rule number one. Put God first in all that you do. Life rule number one, put God first in all that you do. Everything. Everything you've done, if you make the wrong decision, if you look at the two decisions, the two avenues, and you take the wrong direction, you didn't put God first. Putting God first simply means letting the principles and precepts of the Most High guide you in every way. We live in a society where everyone has decided that they can do their own thing, and you literally can. It takes a lot more effort today to live a life that's pleasing to the Most High than it did in years past. Why? Because you have the absolute freedom to do everything you can. A woman knows she's supposed to listen to you. She knows she's supposed to be guided by you. She knows she's supposed to follow you, but she ain't got to. She ain't got to. It takes effort on her part. It takes her effort, energy, and focus to do that because she doesn't have to. She literally has to make a decision to do that. If you're not grinding, you're not doing the things you don't have to. You can settle for less. You literally can settle for less in life. But when you settle for less, who you gonna blame? Everything you started with from the starting block is what God intended for you to have, and God don't make no mistakes. Maybe you have less than that man over there because you're gonna work harder. Maybe you got more talent. Maybe you got more skills. Maybe God gonna bless you more on the back end. But whatever you got at the starting gate, that's what you're supposed to have. That's what you deserve to have. That's what you need to make it with. You can make it from there. Whatever life you need to build, you can build it from where you start. Because someone has built a better life than you want to build with less than you're starting with. So there is no excuse. Stop focusing on changing yourself. You can't change. People don't change. You cannot change. You cannot change. Just like a lion will never become a leopard. A zebra will never become a gazelle. Your dog will never wake up one and be your cat. You never had to rescue that food from a tree. You can't change. But you can improve. You can only improve. Who you are at the core of your being is who you're going to be. It was predestined before you even got here. The combination of your parents' genetics made you. So some of their character traits are just going to be a part of you. Nothing you can do about it. All you can do is improve. So if you have a parent that's a complete narcissist, guess what? You're probably going to be a complete narcissist as well. But guess what you can do? You can improve the way you interact with the world. You can improve the way you display your narcissism, because you're never going to wake up one day and not be that. You are who you are. Period. There's nothing you can do about it. Stop trying to change you. Stop letting people tell you you need to change. I don't need change then. I need to improve. And I'm constantly about improving. We're about building ourselves into the most alpha version of ourselves. And that's every day, all day improvement. That's the only way to do it. You can't accomplish it any other way. You simply can't. We all know this. Everyone knows this. People try to act like they don't know it, but they know it. We all know it, man. You can't get away from it. You can't avoid the fact. That becoming the best version of yourself is all you can do in life, because if you're the same version of yourself at 20 that you were at 15, guess what? Your life is going to suck. If you're the same version of yourself at 30 that you were at 20, guess what? Your life is going to be even worse. If you're the same version of yourself at 40 that you were when you were at 30, you probably going to be able to kick the bucket by then. I ain't going to lie. You know what I'm saying? You probably just going to, you can't make it through life that way. It's all about improving yourself. And in order to improve, you have to be satisfied with your starting point. If you're sitting complaining, oh man, I ain't got this and I ain't got that, and everybody else got this, and man, I started from here, my parents weren't this, and my dad wasn't around, and my mama was bad, and my blah. You can do all that all you want to. But the bottom line is, you got to go. When that starting gun fire, pow, you got to go. It's time to go. See, here's what you got to understand. The main thing that I want you to take away from this is other people's opinions of you and your starting point will keep you from striving. See, people that don't live in the ghetto talk bad about people that live in the ghetto. And if those people listen to it, then they'll believe they're forever destined to be that. But too many people have made it from that environment. Man, there are people who have been homeless children. It's one thing to be a homeless adult, but to be a homeless child? Boy, that's a rough life right there. There are people out here who've been having to fend for themselves since they were 11 or 12, and you got people out here crying because life is hard at 18. I'm out of high school now. Everything's bad for me. Maybe I should go to the military. I think I'll become a jack boy. I got something I can sell to these guys. Maybe I'll become an exotic dancer. All types of things go through people's head because they get out here in the real world and they understand that, okay, now it's time for you to use yourself to become the best version of yourself. Now you got two choices. You can become the best version of yourself, or you can stick to all the negative energy that you built within and allow people to help you build and attribute to you. And then you can move on and you become an even worse version of yourself. There's nobody out here who has anything going on. If you got 15 kids by 15 women, that's your fault, man. You the one did that. You ain't have to do that. It don't matter what kind of mama you had. You ain't have to do that. If you in prison right now, man, and you got 3 strikes, this your 3rd strike, you ain't gonna never get out. Hey, man, you ain't have to do that. Whatever you did, you didn't have to do it. So we got to understand that this thing is about choices. When you make choices, you have to be man or woman enough to accept the consequences of those choices. There are going to be consequences and repercussions for every single choice you make, every single decision you make. And here's another thing. Not making the decision is a decision. So even if you don't decide to do the right thing, you still got to deal with the consequences and repercussions of it. That's why you got to make sure that you remember your opinion of you is the only valid one. What anybody thinks of me, man, it don't matter. It don't matter. You can think whatever you want to think. Because the bottom line is, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to accept it. I don't have to let it be a part of my life. You understand? I don't block a lot of people, man. I don't block a lot of people on either of these platforms. I don't block a lot of people. But if you come with just pure negative energy out of nowhere, I don't have to deal with that. Like, I don't have to let you stay around and keep doing that because it ain't going to affect me. But what if it affects somebody else? What if one of the Alpha brethren, what if one of the kingdoms in the kingdom, what if one of the kings in the kingdom, rather, is having a terrible day? Last thing they need to hear is you saying something stupid. So the same way I do that, it is your job to protect yourself all throughout life. It is your job to protect yourself. You can't complain about what's going on when you know you made a decision to make it happen. If you made a bad decision 10 years ago, what are you crying? If you're a woman who had a child out of wedlock and you still complaining about that all these years later, you got to tell yourself, okay, that's a decision that I made. What I have to do is improve. What I have to do is make sure that I'm a better version of myself and I don't allow that thing to shape my opinion of myself. You are who you are. And here's the thing about it. Many times it's not even your opinion of yourself. You allow other people to shape your opinion of you. And the reality of the scenario, man, is you have the right to protect yourself with all the wisdom, understanding, knowledge that the Most High has bestowed upon you. You have the right to do that. So while you're looking at the negative things in life, you got to always count your blessings, even in the midst of your hardships. You have to. That's why it takes so long to wrap your mind around the concept of how much worse things could be for you. Yes, things could be better. Here's the thing about better: things can get better. You can affect things and make them better. But if you focus on all the negative energy, man, you'll never be able to focus on the positive, man. Negative energy will drain you so much to where you don't have any energy left to do anything. And a bunch of negative energy is online. That's why I tell you, man, when it comes to relationships, man, just don't accept a woman who can't get offline. If a woman can't leave social media alone, she's trapped already. She's trapped by the evil energy that social media provides. Because if you ain't making no money from being on social media, then there is no positive energy on social media except if you're doing something positive there and making money from it. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even have to be making money from it. But if you're doing something positive there, you have to inject positive energy into social media. You can't pull none from it unless you're somewhere that is injecting positive energy into it. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't just be, and you can't believe that she's going to be able to do that. Everybody has to understand their position, and so if you know you need leadership, you have to be willing to be led. If you know you're a leader, you have to be willing to deal with people. You have to only be willing to deal with people who are willing to follow. You know, the craziest thing in the world is that the people that know you have the hardest time accepting your leadership. They won't accept your rule. They'll push back against it. They'll go against it. They'll act like you ain't been blessed enough to do that. They know you already, so you can't be a leader. Ain't no way God chose you. They've been knowing you since you was young. They've been knowing you for years. Ain't no way he chose you, but they'll go right around the corner and listen to a total stranger and promote him to the whole world as the greatest leader on earth. So you see how their opinion of you can convince you that you're not what God made you? You got to understand, besides the Most High, you are the only constant in your life. Anyone else can walk out at any particular time. Never put your trust in a friend. Never believe in the loyalty of an acquaintance, because you're the only constant. People come and go based on their own selfish reasons every single day of your life. There's nothing you can do to change that. All you can do is be the best version of yourself and keep striving to build that. From the time you born to the time you die, the only person that is going to be there besides yourself is the Most High. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your brother, not your sister, not your children, not your spouse. Nobody is going to be there from day one. Even if your woman is with you, if your wife or husband is with you until you die. Unfortunately, they weren't there in the beginning. Nobody knows everything about you, everything you've gone through, all the things you've had to overcome, all the things you've had to accept, all the times you almost gave up, all the times you thought you couldn't win, all the small victories that you overlooked, All the times you went to the Most High and said, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to give up. Nobody knows all of those times. Nobody knows how many times throughout your life, whether you were a child or adult or whether you were an old man or old woman, nobody knows all the times that you had to cry yourself to sleep. Nobody knows all the times you forgave somebody for something that you shouldn't have forgiven them for. Nobody knows all the time that somebody didn't forgive you for something that you didn't even do. So how you going to put anybody else on your level? How you going to let anybody else convince you that you're not who you are? Nobody's opinion matters that much. If your mama think you ain't nothing, she don't know you. She knew you when you were a kid. She knew you when you were born. She don't know what you're dealing with in the real world. She don't know what's going on in your brain. She don't know what you got to deal with, what you got to accept. She don't know your deepest, darkest secrets. If your daddy think you don't measure up, who is he? He's just the one that made you. He don't know you no more. He knew you then, but he don't know what you had to deal with. You know why? Because he's 20, 30, 40 years younger, older than you, rather, and the world ain't the same since he was your age. He don't know nothing about you. All he knows is the foundation. You can't let these people, man, convince you that they know who you are. No, you knew who I was. And you don't know me now because all the information and all the guidance and everything that you gave me is not relevant in my life anymore. I have to figure out these things on my own. You ain't got time to be letting nobody opinion of you shape your opinion of yourself. It's foolish. Would you go to the bank if you know you got $10,000 in the bank? Are you gonna go to the bank and they give you your account balance and they tell you, well, all you got is 1,000? No, you're gonna raise all kind of hoopla in that bank. You're gonna tear the club up. But you're gonna let somebody in your life tell you, you ain't this, your character ain't that. You ain't built like that. You ain't worth this. I know you. I've been knowing you since you were a kid. You ain't nothing. You ain't worth nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. You're a failure. Let me tell you something. The only person that calls somebody a failure is a failure. Nobody even addresses anybody who says, you know you're a failure, unless you're a failure. Now, if we're doing a project together, you don't hold up your end. Man, you know you failed on your end. But that's one thing. You failed at this. You failed at that. But calling somebody a failure at life? Man, let me tell you something. If you're alive and well, you ain't strung out, you ain't locked up, you ain't dying from one of these crazy things that you can catch out here, man, guess what? What you failed at? Who says that there's a level you're supposed to be at any particular point in life? Who says that? Who says that you failed because you ain't rich by 30? Who says that you failed because you ain't married by such and such? Who says that? Who made that rule? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I've been through the word of the Most High, man, 3-4 times. I'm on my 4th time right now going through cover to cover. And I ain't never seen it said, by this age, if you ain't done this, you're a failure. By this age, if you haven't done this, you failed. I ain't never seen it nowhere. That's why you got to understand that the number one thing you have to do in order to put yourself in a position where you can ignore these things and avoid these things and other people's opinions of you, you have to focus on edification. Now, what is edification? I didn't say edumacation. I said edification. You have to edify yourself with the righteous statutes and commandments of the Most High. You have to stand on those principles and not just know them, not just read them. You have to apply them to your life. You have to apply them to your life. How many people you know right now don't even honor the Sabbath day? How many of you know don't do that? I ain't even trying. How many people you know right now eat all kind of crap out the water, man? I'm talking about, man, catfish, crab legs, shrimp, crawdads, crawfish, you name it, man. Eel. I mean, I know people eat snake and skunk and everything, boy. If it move and groove, man, let me tell you something. They're going to put it on the stove. Not even thinking about it. Edification is such a process that you can't focus on what other people think about you when you focus on edification because it's hard. You have to separate yourself from those people who have negative energy. Your environment has to become an environment of edification. Your life has to be dedicated to the edification of you. You have to focus on your spirit being. All of this all this surface stuff, man, people worrying about, man, I'll look like this and I'll look like that and I've built this by then. Hey, man, being in shape is about health. I listen, I tell you women like this, if your skin is healthy enough, you ain't got to wear no makeup. If your skin is healthy enough, like it's supposed to be, you look better without makeup than you look with it on. Go to some of these cultures that don't eat none of this crap. They ain't eating all this sugar all the time. Ain't drinking all these sodas. Ain't mixing all this different stuff. Ain't eating all this damn meat every day. Go to them cultures and look at the skin. Everybody's skin. How come them people ain't got no dentist, man, but they don't have no cavities? Go figure. We're too concerned about everything other than edifying your spiritual being. You can't serve two masters. You can't half edify your spiritual being and have focus on your physical appearance. If you're head first, knee deep into your spiritual self, you ain't half worrying about no physical appearance. Man, I ain't worrying about no physical appearance. I mean, I'm a handsome, dashing man. I mean, I must admit that, but that's just because that's the way God made me. Man, let me tell you something. If I was Biggie, I'd be just like Biggie. Heartthrob, never, black and ugly as ever. However, I'm edified to the socks because it really don't matter. The only thing that matters is the version of you that is going to impress the Most High, the version of you that is going to find grace in the sight of the Most High. Nothing else matters. Never get caught up in the world. Never get caught up in what the world thinks of you. Never get caught up in how the world defines you. When I tell you men on the BOA channel, never let women define you, I just say that on that channel. I mean, never let the world define you. How you gonna let somebody define you? If your name ain't Webster, you can't define nothing. Unless your name is Merriam-Webster. You can't define nothing. What are you, some type of human encyclopedia or something? You're not the glossary of my life. You can't define nothing. Be the best version of yourself, even in the face of the enemies of your success. You're going to have many enemies of your success. Everyone is worth being eliminated from your life if they don't fit into the edification of your spiritual self. I don't care who it is. Man, let me tell you something. If I didn't fit into the spiritual edification of my own life, I'd take myself out. Anybody that get in the way of my edification, man, they got to go. They got to move. Because I can't put you first. I got to put God first. Why? Because He the only one put me first. I ain't never met nobody in life who put me first, man. Ever. 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 When I say ever, I mean ever. Who you met in your life put you first? If you believe somebody done put you first in your life, then you need to work on your edification. Boy, you ain't got it. The enemies of your success, I'm not talking about your financial success. I'm not talking about your material success. I'm not talking about your popularity. All success is based on the edification of your spirit, man. You can make money doing the most evil things on earth. So let's not act like financial success means that you've truly edified yourself. It doesn't mean that. And see, when it comes to the enemies of your success, you have to be the best version of yourself, because the worst thing you could do, the worst thing you could ever do, somebody put it in the chat. When you're facing the enemy of your success, what's the worst thing you could ever do? Rather than be the best version of yourself and stand fast in what you believe in, stand fast on what you stand on, stand fast in the principle, the precepts of the Most High. What's the worst thing you can do when faced with the enemies of your success? While y'all put that in the chat, man, I'm going to give you a couple of super chats. Robert F. SFDC, man, welcome to the king, man. The kingdom, rather. Welcome to the kingdom, man. Savage Sam, appreciate the super chat, man. Doc, you preaching, but can you shoot me an unblock? I sent you props on the video months ago and placed the period at the end of a sentence. And Instagram made a website link. So you blocked me, Sam. TV, good work. I'll take a look at it, man. Brown Horn in 1975. Salute, homie. Appreciate it. Bring it out, King. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you being in the joint. Ripping that Mod Squad. Ray Shaw Smith. Salute. Appreciate the super chat, man. The power of belief in self is everything. We learned from the death of KS that he never stopped believing in himself and had a run in his 50s. He'll be remembered forever. Always believe in ourselves. Always believe in yourself, man. I'm glad you brought that up, man, because it's never too late. It's never too late to get to that point where you blast off, man. It's never too late. Let me tell y'all the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is have a run in your 40s and 50s. That's the hardest thing to do. At that point, most people are maintaining. You can build, but having a run. You know, you look at somebody like Master P. You look at Master P as a perfect example. He's still doing things, but he had a run back in the day. That run ain't coming back. The hardest thing to do is have a run now. Have a run at 40s, 50s, 60s, to have a run. But that just goes to show it's never too late to have that run. It's never too late to build. It's never too late to become that thing. As long as you're waking up every day, man, you can become what the Most High put you here to become. You can always do that. The one thing you can never do when faced with the enemies of your success, you can never be reduced to their level of engagement. Because once you're reduced to the level of engagement of the enemies of your success, you also become an enemy of your success. Their level is only inhabited by the enemies of success. Anytime you're reduced to that, you become an enemy of your own success. See, it's one thing to have an enemy of your success. Okay, they're the enemy of success. No one really wants to see anyone else successful. Let's be real. No one really wants to dedicate themselves to anyone else's success. Am I saying you want to be a hater? You want to stop them from succeeding? No, but not many people are going to dedicate themselves to someone else's success. But you being the enemy of your very own success, man, where they do that at? Never be reduced to the level of engagement of the enemies of your success. That is their whole goal of being the enemies. They don't want you to fail. They can't make you fail. They want you to make yourself fail. And they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, nationalities, business, personal, strangers, friends, family, foes. All shapes and sizes, man. So the goal is to preserve your spiritual sanctity. You got to protect that. You got to stand on principles and precepts. You got to believe that you deserve to be the best version of yourself. You got to believe that being the best version of yourself is the best thing for your life now and moving forward. You have to believe that. And how do you do that? As I said earlier, you put God first in all that you do by letting the principles and precepts of the Most High guide you. Some people ain't going to like it. People going to try to change it. People going to try to tell you don't know what you're talking about. People going to try to tell you lack of understanding, especially them folk that caught up in that church and that Christianity and all that, boy. You tell them you ain't about that, they going to tell you lack understanding. They going to tell you don't know what you're talking about. They going to tell you all them people over there, they know it. How come you don't know it? The biggest the church is, look how big the church is. You mean tell me I'm supposed to go again to church and believe what you believe? No, you're supposed to do what you want to do. I'm telling you what I do. I'm telling you what God told me to do. I'm telling you what the Most High put in me. I'm telling you what the vow of Nazarite led me to. That's all I'm telling you. What you want to do that. But I'm going to stand on these principles and precepts that the Most High gave me. The principles and precepts of righteousness, man. And let me tell you something. Beware of those who can talk it. Beware of those who can quote it like they wrote it. But you have to understand the energy of people. So even if you know it, if the way you show it is through negative, condescending energy, talking to the people as if you are God Himself, with the energy of negativity and attack energy, you are just as bad as the pastors who lead the flock astray. And thus said the Lord, woe unto the pastors who lead my flock astray. Master Executive 8, welcome to the kingdom. Michael Davis, appreciate the super chat. Salute, BOA. You doing work for the Most High. Much appreciated. Salute, man. I appreciate it. Ray Shaw Smith again, man. And honor God first. Appreciate you, BOA. Salute, man. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all call me BOA over here, man. Y'all won't seem to separate the King Ray channel and the BOA. So I ain't gonna even push that no more. So here's what I want to say, man. Just remember this. Whatever you have is what you have. Instead of complaining about what you have, embrace what you have. Appreciate what you have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Because if you ain't got it, all you can do is get it. You can think about it and focus on it and cry about it and whine about it. It ain't going to suddenly pop up in your life. But just know that if you have less than that man, it means that God believes more in your ability to overcome. If you have more than that man, it means that God wants you to achieve a goal quicker. You see how you can view everything from a positive perspective? If you stop letting the negativity overrun your mindset. And that's the goal. Edification is the best form of education. Famo, salute. Hornet, salute. Kingdom, salute. We out.